FoReDeo.com.
Join me, Rebecca Christensen Mapston, in real time for Real Topics on Real Talk with Rebecca on FoReDeo.com.
Need tickets to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo this December? Boyd Gaming's got 'em. They offer room and ticket packages that include transportation to and from the rodeo. Visit www.boydgaming.com/NFR. Boyd Gaming is riding for the brand.
Hi, this is Maury Moreland Morrison, here to tell you Geico has more than just great savings. Much more. Geico's been around for more than 75 years, back when they were using Morse code. Sorry, that's just my sense of humor. What's more, with Geico you get 24/7 access to licensed agents on the app, online, or over the phone, so you can talk to them at night or in the morning. So forevermore, just know that no other auto insurer has more than Geico. More power to you. Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Terrestrial Silver was founded in 1997. Our goal today remains the same as it was back then, to provide you, our customer, with a quality custom buckle at an affordable price. From 1 to 100, our buckles are all made one at a time by hand. Our only limit is your imagination. Give us a call today at 800-550-7535 and let us help you design your next trophy buckle. That's Terrestrial Silver, Llano, Texas. Find us on Facebook or at terrestrialsilver.com. Proud to be part of She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls.
She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls is proud to have as our charity of choice Man Up Crusade. Man Up is working in the Western world to reduce domestic violence in society and contribute to social change by promoting safe and healthy relationships. Growing up in a violent home is one of the most terrifying and traumatic experiences a child can go through. Let's work together to help those afflicted to stand and know they're not alone. Find out more at manupcrusade.com. Take a stand and break the cycle of domestic violence.
This is FoRe Radio, a media platform used to elevate voices and empower dreams.
All right, rodeo fans, it's time for She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls. Introducing your host, Becky Christensen, and co-host Vicki Christensen O'Shields. Presented to you by Boyd Gaming. Hey, let's ride.
Good evening, everyone. Hi there. This is Vicki Christensen O'Shields, your co-host here on She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls. This evening, my beautiful niece, Becky Christensen Mapston, is out of pocket. She is in the beautiful state of Idaho at the Snake River Stampede, serving as a judge for Miss Rodeo Idaho. So, Becky, I know you are not listening, but I hope you can join us in the archives later. Tonight's broadcast, I have the lovely Bobby Jean Olson, Miss U.S. Ambassador for She's Gone Country. Bobby Jean, are you here?
I am absolutely honored to be on the show with all of my favorite ladies this evening and getting to learn so much about the ProRodeo Hall of Fame. So as I'm sitting here watching monsoon weather blow by, I'm anxious to get going with the questions.
Well, Bobby Jean, here it is, already, the middle of July, and it's summer, and of course there's a little weather everywhere tonight. Even here in Texas, we've been having some thunder boomers and some lightning and a little bit of light rain. Nothing like the deluge that you get in the monsoon in Arizona. But tonight we do have a very special guest, and we're just thrilled that he can take the time out of his busy schedule to visit with us. And it's our pleasure to welcome from the ProRodeo Hall of Fame, the director, Mr. Kent Sturman. Hi, Kent.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having me on tonight.
Well, we're thrilled to have you on. And, Kent is a busy man year-round, year in, day out, year-round, but especially this time of year as the world of pro rodeo gets together in Colorado Springs at the Hall of Fame for the yearly induction ceremony. And, of course, that's going to take place here in just a couple of weeks. The dates are August 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Kent, can you tell us a little bit about what is going to happen here very soon?
Absolutely. August 3rd, that Thursday, we hold a golf tournament in conjunction with the inductions, and that's just a fun fundraiser for the Hall of Fame. A lot of the people that are coming for inductions and even some of the inductees themselves will be playing, and it's a great opportunity for us to have a little fun as well as raise some much needed money for the Hall of Fame that we can use to continue to allow us to preserve the sport and the history of the sport. And then on Friday the 4th, Friday evening, is our annual Cowboy Ball, which we honor the inductees there, but that's not the actual ceremony. And again, another opportunity just to get everybody together. We do have a fundraising auction that night as well. And then at the Cowboy Ball, we do present our Pioneer Award, which is awarded to someone or some company that has helped preserve rodeo, promote rodeo, and just help bring the PRCA and the ProRodeo Hall of Fame to the next level. And this year's honoree for the Pioneer Award will be Western Horseman Magazine, who for so many years has been one of the major media outlets that has really promoted the sport of professional rodeo and helped us advance it and get our stories out to the rodeo fans. And then on Saturday morning will be our annual induction ceremony and luncheon, and that's when the class of 12 this year will be inducted into the ProRodeo Hall of Fame.
Right. Well, Kent, this is Vicki, and, going back just, from pulling some things out of my memory bank and here and there and reading, this is actually the 38th induction ceremony. Is that correct? The hall was founded and opened with its first group of inductees in 1979.
Yes, it did open in 1979 with its first induction class, but then it didn't induct annually until 1983. So after that first class, which was enormous, they didn't induct for the next 2 or 3 years, but since 1983, we've been having annual inductions.
Mm-hmm. Now, Kent, how does the number of inductees this year compare to inductees in the past? Is this a larger class than we've seen in recent years?
It is. We have a class of 12 this year, which is the largest in recent history. And part of the reason for that is that this year, for the first time ever, we will be inducting members of the Women's Professional Rodeo Association in the barrel racing and barrel horses. So we've extended a partnership with them. The PRCA currently has a relationship with the WPRA and holds the barrel racing at their events, but they've never been inducted into the ProRodeo Hall of Fame. So this year we've come to an agreement that will allow us to do that. So we have 3 honorees this year from the WPRA.
Right. Well, yes, go ahead, Bobby Jean.
Oh, Kent, this is Bobby Jean, and I was hoping that you could kind of explain to our audience what is the process of being inducted into the ProRodeo Hall of Fame and the magnitude of what this means.
Yeah, well, anyone can nominate anyone, and there's an application and some information that we need on each nominee, and those are due to us by the end of January each year. And then we have a selection committee that goes through all of the nominees and selects the class. And it's pretty kind of a daunting task because we always have well over 100 nominees each year. There's so many deserving people and animals out there. But once someone is nominated, if they're not selected that first year, they do stay on the list of nominees for 3 years, and then they would drop off and it would have to be nominated again. But so it's quite a process and certainly a big job because they're all deserving. And then from there, we start planning the festivities.
Well, Kent, this is Vicki, and I know that with the large class this year, that it's going to really be a fabulous induction weekend. One of the things about the ProRodeo Hall of Fame, and there's many facets of it, because I know that, you have a lot of different exhibits. You are, a big part of rodeo education. And, for people to stop by when they're in Colorado Springs and drop by the hall, their admission to the ProRodeo Hall is enabling the hall to continue on to honor our past and present rodeo champions, athletes and animal athletes. And I was wondering, this year, of course, there's 2 animal athletes coming in, and very proud to be part of the family of one of those, Smith and Velvet being inducted. But we also have an extraordinary other animal athlete coming in. And can you tell us a little bit about Red?
Yeah, Red is an amazing horse, and was an amazing horse, and he had been nominated previously and just didn't make it in. And so this year, with it being the first year for WPRA induction, it was kind of a good opportunity to pick him, because Red is the only horse, and may be the only horse ever to win 2 world championships in the same year in 2 different events in 2 different organizations. It was in 1962 that Red's owner, Sherry Combs Johnson, rode him to the world championship in barrel racing. But also that same year, one of their close family friends, Tom Neesmith, rode Red to a world title in the steer wrestling, and that title helped Tom then win the all-around. So Red contributed to 3 world titles in 1 year, and it's kind of, nowadays the horses are so much more specialized that you're not going to be able to do other events on barrel horses necessarily, or vice versa. So that's a great accomplishment, and probably long overdue that Red be honored, because that certainly it's never happened before, Red, and it hasn't happened since 1962, and it probably never will happen again.
Right. Very historic event. Go ahead, Bobby Jean.
Well, I was curious, Pam, when you were talking about fundraisers for the ProRodeo Hall of Fame. Tell us a little bit about how you guys bring in the money to keep this phenomenal organization going.
Well, we have several excellent and generous sponsors. A lot of the corporate sponsors of the PRCA contribute a portion to the Hall of Fame, and that's certainly a big chunk of it. We hold several fundraisers a year. These during the induction, the golf tournament, and the Cowboy Ball, and then out in Las Vegas during the WNFR, we have another golf tournament out there. We put on the Wrangler Gold Buckle Gala and honor our Pro Rodeo legend. And then we have a lot of donors. We have a membership program, and then we also hold events at the hall. The main museum hall, our pavilion, and our seasonal tent are all venues for events. We hold a lot of weddings there, banquets, and other fundraisers for other nonprofits, and so that's a big chunk of our revenue too.
And if there were friends and people that wanted to get involved, how could they find out more?
They could visit our website. We have our membership information on there, as well as a way to donate. And it's a rather lengthy address, but it's www.ProRodeoHallOfFame.com.
Well, Kent, keeping the stories behind the stories and preserving our history for future generations, I don't think there's any more important mission in the world. I really don't, because without the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame here in Colorado Springs, all of these champions from rodeos past, the foundation of rodeo, today's generation and future cowboys and cowgirls would not have the opportunity to know them. If you could, I would really appreciate it. I know our listeners would love to hear their names again. Could you please go through the list of inductees for the class of 2017?
Absolutely. It's a tremendous class. There's a lot of great rodeo people and rodeo champions on this list, starting with Randy Corley, who was an 11-time PRCA Announcer of the Year and announces the NFR 15 times. Buck Rutherford has passed away, but he was the all-around champion in 1954. Enoch Walker, a saddle bronc rider, won the title in 1960. Tommy Perrier, steer wrestling world champion in 1974. Mike Beers, team roping champion in 1984, and he went to the NFR 23 times. Cody Custer, bull riding champion from 1992, an 8-time NFR qualifier. Let's see, who else we have? Bob Ragsdale is going in as a notable, but he qualified for the NFR 22 times. He was also involved in the administration of the PRCA. He served as both vice president and president in the 1970s, and he's credited with being the one to propose that time of adding the word professional to the organization's name, because at that time they were just the Rodeo Cowboys Association. But Bob also was the first and only left-handed roper to qualify for the NFR 15 consecutive years. Of course, you mentioned from your family the great bucking horse Smith and Velvet, 4-time Bareback Horse of the Year, owned by Christensen Brothers. We have rodeo committee going in this year, the Ogden Pioneer Days Rodeo from Ogden, Utah. They're having their rodeo, I believe, this week for the 83rd year, and then they'll be coming down to be inducted. And then our WPRA honorees, we of course already talked about Red, the great barrel and steer wrestling horse, and then we have Wanda Harper Bush, who won 2 world titles in barrel racing, but all in all, in the Girls Rodeo Association and the WPRA, Wanda won 32 world titles in cutting and flag race and calf roping and ribbon roping and barrel racing. So she is just a phenomenal WPRA champion. And then, of course, Charmaine James, the first WPRA member to wear the coveted number 1 back number at the NFR, 10 consecutive world titles on Scamper, and then another world title later on in her career for a total of 11. So it's a tremendous class, very, very excellent rodeo athletes and equine athletes.
Well, absolutely. And it's such a big class, Kent. And we're going to take a short break here in just a moment. But when we come back, let's talk a little bit about honoring the rodeo committees. They serve a very special spot, and of course, without them, our pro rodeo would not be possible. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
FoReDeo.com.
Join me, Rebecca Christensen Matheson, in real time for real topics on Real Talk with Rebecca on FoReDeo.com.
American Hat Company is known throughout the world as the hat preferred by rodeo champions, ranchers, everyday cowboys, cowgirls, and rodeo fans. From the arena to the boardroom, no one does it better. Handmade in Bowie, Texas, American hats are made with tradition in the old-fashioned way. From the finest in felts to the best in straws, there is an American hat for every occasion. The CB Cowgirls are proud to have our ambassadors wearing the #1 hat in the world. Thank you, American Hat. Find your own American hat at your favorite retailer. American Hats, handcrafted since 1950.
Rebecca Lawler Limited is the culmination of a lifelong dream for philanthropist and designer Rebecca Lawler. She designed her patented unique glass heart, which is handcrafted by glass artists in Virginia. Placed in the center is a brilliant gem. The heart can be worn with the Rebecca Lawler Limited signature ribbon or an awareness ribbon of choice. To join the mission of the Hearts of Hope Foundation and add a Rebecca Lawler signature heart to your own personal style, go to RebeccaLawlerLimited.com. That's RebeccaLawler Limited.com.
In today's busy world, it's nice to know that help is just a moment away. Andrea at Rodeo Spot Marketing is your one-stop shop, full-service web and graphic design service, along with photo projects, printing services, marketing, and promotional. Let their staff take the stress off you and put a smile on your face. Always creative, always competitive priced, always working for you. That's Rodeo Spot Marketing. Find them at RodeoSpot.com. Tell Andrea the CB Cowgirls sent you.
Need tickets to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo this December? Boyd Gaming's got 'em. They offer room and ticket packages that include transportation to and from the rodeo. Visit www.boydgaming.com/NFR. Boyd Gaming is riding for the brand.
FoReDeo.com.
Welcome back to She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls. We are visiting this evening with Kent Sturman, the director of the ProRodeo Hall of Fame in Colorado Springs. Bobby Jean, hey, how are you doing? We haven't had a chance to visit lately. I know that you have some more questions for Kent. So by all means, jump in there, Bobby Jean, and let's visit a little bit more with Kent Sturman.
Well, Kent, for some of us that aren't as familiar with the ProRodeo Hall of Fame, and everybody's heard about it, I believe, but, this is such an honor for so many that have devoted their lives to the Professional Rodeo Cowboy Association, the Western lifestyle, just to see, when did you guys first start inducting the animals, the horses, and all of that?
The animals were inducted from the beginning in 1979, as well as, of course, the athletes and the stock contractors and the contract personnel. Pretty much every portion of rodeo was inducted back then except rodeo committees. And the hall started inducting committees in 2008. And now with Ogden Pioneer Days going in this year, they're the 28th committee to go in.
Well, Kent, this is Vicki. Oh, I'm sorry, Bobby Jean.
Oh, no, go ahead, Vicki.
Well, I was just, we were visiting with Ogden, about Ogden before the break. And Ogden, the first rodeo was held there in 1934, and it started right after the Great Depression. And reading here a quote from Dave Halverson, the rodeo's director, he said that it was really something that the community needed. Now, the criteria for these rodeo committees, Kent, is it any different? Can anyone nominate a committee, or do they have to have a certain criteria to follow?
Anyone can nominate a committee. The criteria for the committee is that they have to have been a PRCA sanctioned committee for at least 15 years and in good standing. Other than that, it's open to any PRCA rodeo committee that has that many years or more involved.
It's a huge honor for any committee to be, enshrined in the ProRodeo Hall, and I know that I'm certain that the tickets, it's probably a sold out audience for the Cowboy Ball on Friday night. Is that correct?
Yeah, we just last week sold out at the Cowboy Ball. It's going to be our largest crowd ever. We're going to have 460 seats there in the main hall of the museum for dinner and the auction, and so that's sold out. But the ceremony and luncheon on Saturday, we don't really sell out that because if you keep coming, we'll keep letting you in. It's out in our garden area, so we got plenty of room, and we'll have additional seating inside the museum if it's too hot and people want to enjoy the air conditioning, and we'll be showing the ceremony on a big screen indoors as well. But otherwise, we have seating outside under our tent, and we can pack them in. So if you can't come to the ball, be sure and come Saturday for the ceremony. It's a great time, and it just honoring these people is just a tremendous important thing of what we do, and we want to share that with everyone.
Well, and Kent, it's a phenomenal place that will really take your breath away when you stop and think about the greatness that surrounds you. So any of our listeners that are going to be in Colorado Springs or in Colorado itself and can take the time to drive down to Springs and attend the ceremony, I can tell you that it's a feeling that you just it's really hard to describe, Kent. So many of our rodeo forefathers are there, so much of our history. We just, the last time I was there was just in March when we honored Mr. Harry Bold with his memorial service. So the hall is a very, very special place.
It is, and it's an honor for me to be in this position and work to preserving our history and honoring the greats that come through the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. And I don't take lightly the responsibility that we have in preserving that history, but also in preserving and displaying the artifacts. And we have a huge collection, more than we could ever put out on display. And each and every one of those pieces is important to our sport and important to our history, and certainly are important to many individuals that either donated those or put them on loan to us. So we take that responsibility pretty seriously, but it's also just a great time, and it's a great job to have. We're honored to serve the PRCA in this capacity.
And Kent, this is Bobby Jean. You guys do a lot in promoting the rodeo history and the Western history, and you involve the kids come into the museum and take part in that a lot, don't they?
They do. That's kind of one area of the museum that we really need to kind of improve upon and add. We don't have a lot of interactive things for younger children. And certainly some kids might not be too interested in reading a bunch of information, but we do get a lot of school groups through, and a lot of 4-H and FFA groups that come through during stock show season and that kind of thing. So they're a big part of our audience, and we're glad to share that history with them. Many of them, that's their heroes on the walls of that hall, and
exactly.
Some of them want to be there one day themselves. So,
and that's what they dream of. They look at those pictures and those awards and the saddles, and it's right there to encourage and inspire and motivate their dreams. And hopefully they can see that they can go after it and do it as well if we keep this legacy alive.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Bobby Jean, we're going to be closing out here in just a couple minutes. I'll let you go ahead and give a closing statement and say goodbye to Kent, and then I'll be back on.
Well, it is always an absolute honor. I hope you guys can't hear the rain too loud. It's kind of coming down nice, which we love, because that means we don't have to irrigate the pastures for a week or so still. But I always love getting to meet and hear about all these amazing individuals, just like what you are doing, Kent, to help preserve our lifestyle that we live and love, and we want to see our younger generation feel the same about. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you do to promote these fabulous cowboys, cowgirls, and animals as we keep our history alive. God bless, Kent.
Oh, thank you. As I said before, it's my honor.
Well, Kent, Bobby Jean, you just wrapped it up and summed it up so perfectly. We are the representatives here and now for professional rodeo, and it is a responsibility and an honor to keep that legacy alive. Kent, we appreciate everything you do there at the hall, and of course everyone that works with you on a daily basis. Listeners, please, if you're going to be in the vicinity of Colorado Springs coming up August 3rd and 4th, please stop by the hall, check in, walk through there, see your heroes, meet some friends, old friends and new friends. Kent, thank you so much. It's such a privilege to be visiting with you this evening, and we look forward to seeing you in just a couple of weeks. And right now, we're going to close this out with another very special part of our She's Gone Country broadcast, and that is the lovely Crystal Lyons with a little cowgirl logic. Good night, everyone. Thank you, and God bless.
I'm Crystal Lyons, and we were in the process of loading a broodmare who hadn't been hauled much, using the technique taught by so many clinicians of tapping on the horse's hip, and when they step forward, you stop tapping and pet them. In no time at all, it teaches a horse to load, keeping him quiet in the process. Well, after about 15 minutes of this, a lady watching from a nearby parking lot came and accused us of beating the horse. I was horrified, and I tried to explain the process to her and invited her to stay and watch, and she did, and called the cops. Well, the mare gave it up pretty quickly, and as we were shutting the trailer door behind her, 2 cop cars pulled up, and they asked us a few questions, and then they asked to see her dog. And when Huckleberry came out, dragging out from under the motorhome, these guys busted out laughing. And they said that she had called in and said some people were torturing a horse with a pitchfork, no less, and a pit bulldog. Well, the only thing that Huckleberry would ever torture was a biscuit. Well, these guys apologized for our trouble and sent us on our way. But I was amazed how far from the actual truth this lady's perception was. She couldn't see reality in front of her eyes because she was blinded by her own perception. Well, I'm wondering, are we the same with God? What's influencing your perception of God? If you're allowing the world's opinion to shape yours about Him, then I can promise you're as ignorant of truth in that area as that woman is in the area of handling animals. It's a dangerous misconception because your eternal destiny is determined by your choices, and your choices are made according to your perception. What if your perception is wrong? I'm Crystal Lyons, and this is just some Cowgirl Logic. For more, go to cowgirllogic.net. Need tickets to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo this December? Boyd Gaming's got 'em. They offer room and ticket packages that include transportation to and from the rodeo. Visit www.boydgaming.com/NFR. Boyd Gaming is riding for the brand.
She's Gone Country with the CBCowgirls is proud to have as our charity of choice Man Up Crusade. Man Up is working in the Western world to reduce domestic violence in society and contribute to social change by promoting safe and healthy relationships. Growing up in a violent home is one of the most terrifying and traumatic experiences a child can go through. Let's work together to help those afflicted to stand and know they're not alone. Find out more at manupcrusade.com. Take a stand and break the cycle of domestic violence.
Join me, Rebecca Christensen Matheson, in real time for real topics on Real Talk with Rebecca on FoRedeo.com.
FoRedeo.com.